Cal told me that we had a little bit of time, and like I can talk, so he said, let's get up. And I want to tell you a story. So, and some of you heard this at Field to Table. I'm going to embellish it even a little bit more because I got a little bit more time. But we have this amazing, amazing opportunity in this country. We have built a conservation pyramid around animals in this country that's absolutely amazing. Jamie's sitting up here. We have grizzly bears now in pretty much all of Western Montana. That happened in my lifetime because of your work, because of your dad's work. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Grizzly bears, wolves, bald eagles. Remember bald eagles? Bald eagles, you never used to see them. Never used to see them. Now when I bring people out to Montana and we get on the river for the first time, we're like, look at that, it's a bald eagle. And then we see like 30, 40 more. Oh, a bald eagle. You got goose dung on every golfer's cleat in America. Every golfer's cleat in America. White-tailed deer. Now, like, you have insurance companies that are trying to get more people to hunt white-tailed deer because they're ruining cars. What an amazing, amazing success story this is. This pyramid, this conservation pyramid. There's a capstone that we have not done yet, and that is bison restoration. Bison restoration means so many things to me, so many things. And I think my mentor, Jim Posowitz, right before I got this job, we went out to central Montana, and we were able to have a conversation about what could be. What could be. And that was 10 years ago. This last fall, Rachel and I, Tyson Running Wolf, a friend of mine from DC, Drew came out. He was a little bit late because the snowstorm was absolutely horrendous. We had this opportunity to go chase these animals around a little bit on the American prairie. I don't know if there's anybody here from the American prairie. Thank you for all what you guys do. The vision is unbelievable. So what we got to do is we got to go have this opportunity to go hunt some bison. And you show up and you think, I've only seen bison behind fences. I've only seen them like, there's some down south of here in the Bitterroot. You drive by them all the time. They're like cows. I was like, we're just gonna, like, is this not gonna be a hunt? We're just gonna show up, there's gonna be the bison, we're gonna shoot them. Could have been farther from the truth. We do show up, it's freezing ass cold. It's like
negative 25.
Negative 25 degrees. I told you about the story. Drew had to come. We all went through an amazing, like, crazy storm to get there. At some point, I was like, "Why are we even doing this?" Because we're going to hunt. That's why. So we get out there and we see this herd that's, I don't know, half a mile away, maybe a mile away, and it's moving. So we're like, well, we can catch up to them. And so we start moving, and we're going in that direction, right? Like, and we've all done these things, right? And as we're going, some of us are in better shape than others. I won't say anything about the DC guy, because he's not here. But we were lined out. And Tyson looks back at me, he's like, what are we doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what are we doing? He's like, we look like wolves. And I was like, oh. So we had to all come together, right? So we looked more like a mass that was moving together. So that was the first kind of really big point I had with him, like gleaning his information. And about halfway into this, he looks back at me and he's got this like eyes. He's just like, they're on fire, and he's like, Land, this is a real hunt. I'm like, yeah, it's a real hunt. This is like what Jim talked about, what could be, we are doing right now. We are doing right now. So we get going. Rachel's got this gun that she's never ever used. This gentleman from DC, it's like, I don't know what happened. He didn't want to shoot at that point. So he hands the gun to Rachel. We come out of this little dip. She gets up, throws on like some sticks for her. She gets on, she shoots this bison, doesn't kill it, and then starts running. She throws down, I forgot one part. We're gonna continue on this piece. She throws down the sticks, makes this awesome running, all instinctual. It was absolutely amazing, amazing. It was amazing to be with you during that time. The part that I forgot, which is my favorite part of this whole hunt, maybe not, eating it that night was amazing too. But it was when they came over the rise, so we'd seen this big group, we tried to catch up to them, and then we couldn't catch up to them. I was like, oh, we missed them. And my thought would be to try to go and like catch them at a different point. But Tyson's like, we'll never ever catch up to them. But what we did do is, there's some stragglers. There's like another 10 that are coming. They come over the top of this ridge, and as Rachel described, it was so cold out, so cold out. And since it was so cold, that snow was like puffy, like it was like so light. So light. So when they come over the top of this little ridge, that bull hits the ground and the snow just goes, never forget that. Steam coming out of its nose. Steam coming out of its nose. So she kills this bison, then we get to work. Thank goodness Tyson knows how to deal with this animal, and he's dealt with them a lot because they're big. The head is everything. The head, if you manipulate the head, you can manipulate the entire body. It took us 2 hours probably to break that down. And then when we were taking them out, we have these sleds, and I think it was, I had 2 quarters and the rib cage, mine, and there was 2 quarters and the head and hide another. That's the hardest back out I've ever done. It was pretty much flat besides like these little dips that we had to do, but it was like so much weight. And like, so you worked all that time. Then we got back that night, we're sitting around, and we're eating this bison. And we forgot salt and pepper. And if you know Rachel has like the biggest biggest kitchen that you would ever see. She's a river girl, so she knows she can bring everything on the boat. We forgot, we had to go to our neighbors to get pepper and salt. And all we have is butter, pepper, and salt. And we eat this bison around the thing that night. And Tyson, I remember him telling me this, he's like, we're sitting there, and I'm not going to totally get this story right, and maybe Jimmy, you know the real details of this piece. He's like, Land, you know that bison protect elk? And I was like, I pictured right in my head, and this is like, he could see my brain working. He's like, oh, it's like bison and they need to stand in a circle, and that elk's in the middle, and they protect them from the wolves. And I didn't hardly even say anything. And he's like, that's what you're thinking, isn't it? I was like, yeah. He's like, no, that's what I'm talking about. But what he did talk about is that there's a disease, there's like a, I'm not going to get this right. There's like little worms like in wolf shit. And deer and elk will sniff that, it gets in their nose, and it causes major problems with them. What is it called? Conococcus, thank you. I'm getting educated, thank you. I need more from you anyway. So what happens is these bison, when they're out on the landscape, they have these big feet. They call them the ecological engineers of that whole prairie system. They're out there and they're walking, they're breaking that wolf dung, scat, right? Scat is probably the better way to say it. I would say something else when my kids are here. But they break it up, and so that doesn't get into the elk and deer's noses. And so the way they protect them is because these bison are ecological engineers. These grasslands that are so important to us, like they're not the indicator species, they are the driver of the entire landscape. And so when I think about national grasslands that we all care about, it's the #1 imperiled ecosystem in this country, in the world. You have this iconic species. There's the ecological engineers. Then you have this history of us slaughtering these bison. And slaughtering these bison to take them away from the people. Take them away from the native people. That's why it happened. And so, whether that's the ecological engineers or the opportunity for us to hunt them at some point, I think about the connection, the food sovereignty, the cultural sovereignty of bringing these things back. We have an opportunity as the people, all of you right now, to be a part of one of the most amazing things in your life, and that's bringing bison back to that landscape. And so when I think about like what could be, this is what all of us can do.
Yeah.
Let's go. Drew, when we were there that next day, we saw those bison at like 3 miles, and they were like little teeny dots. I think you said this to me, like, oh, man, this is the way it could be. These bison deserve to be on the landscape. It's not going to happen by accident. If you're paying attention, 2 weeks ago, the Secretary of Interior came out with a secretarial order, so we're going to prioritize bison restoration now in this country. Montana, New Mexico, Minnesota just came out. Minnesota just came out last week about restoring them there. I was in Pennsylvania. They used to have woodland bison in Pennsylvania. There's a cross-border thing up in Alberta and British Columbia. Bison, they don't know borders. That grassland's where we go, right? This is our opportunity. So that thing, what I saw over that ridge, the steam coming out of the nose, every single person in this room deserves to see that. Every person in this room deserves that. So think about that piece. Think about what that will do for our native people that were here tens of thousands of years before us, that have traditional ecological knowledge. That story that we just heard, Conococcus.
Don't sniff peanut scabs.
I'll keep that on the list. If you didn't hear me, said don't sniff cane and scat. But all these things, we have this opportunity, all of us, and I look at this room and I couldn't think of better people to actually get this thing done. So, leave you with that story. Have an amazing night tonight. Love you as our community. That thing where we all just shook hands and met new people, do that. Continue, bring that energy home. And this is one that we can all do together. So thank you for being a part of this family, and I appreciate you very much. So.